I think she was a passenger on our last voyage, a person of some importance, as I believe.
After meeting Luke Skywalker and having our two droids R2-D2 and C-3PO sold to the Skywalkers, it was time for Luke to do his chores and see to a routine cleaning of the new droids. Today, I'm going to be focusing on minute details in this easily overlooked scene to demonstrate the intention to every detail that Williams made and how it continually reflects the narrative storytelling and moment-to-moment situations on screen. Since this scene began with far less intrigue and drama than the previous couple of scenes that were designed to set up our main characters, Williams decided to finally pull back on the music for the first time here to simply allow the dialogue to play through. This also allowed the re-entry of music to be that much more impactful when it occurs, and good film composers know when to lay off and not do too much with music. So, our attention is immediately drawn in when the hologram of Princess Leia begins, and Williams brings in a soft F in the low strings. And initially, this simply sounds like the hum of R2's projection, but it also sets a tonal reference for us after not hearing music for the last several minutes.
Were you on a Star Cruiser?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
What's this?
What is what?
Next, the celeste, flutes, and clarinets enter over top with a two-note motif that descends by a half step.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Williams makes a very conscious choice, however, to have this motif's first entrance begin on G sharp and B natural. This creates a dark minor third interval, but the higher pitch, which our ear is most drawn to, is now a tritone above the F natural drone that we initially heard. The tritone is an interesting interval in music theory, once even being considered superstitiously the devil's interval. Now, superstition aside, this interval consisting of 3 whole steps or 6 half steps is inherently very dissonant to our ears, but it also carries a mysterious essence as our brains try to decipher how it belongs in a key or where it wants to go next.
My only hope.
What's this?
What is what? He asked you a question. What is that?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Then, as Williams moves those 2 notes forming the minor third down, each by a half step, he creates even more intervallic tension, but he also now gives us each of the first 5 notes of the octatonic scale, a scale that continually moves between half steps and whole steps. All of this, the tritone opening interval, the minor thirds, and the half-step movements immediately throws our brains into confusion and therefore mystery, the same way that Luke Skywalker is feeling as this hologram begins.
You're my only hope.
What's this?
What is what? He asked you a question. What is that?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But while this gives us a sense of discomfort and mystery, the use of flute, clarinet, and celeste so far never makes us feel threatened. Williams then responds to the first descending half step with an identical response, only set a perfect 5th lower and now pairing the remaining flute player with celeste. Next, the exact same call and response pattern repeats, except that this time all of the notes have been transposed or moved up by a whole step. When composers immediately repeat melodic material in a transposed version, we refer to this as a sequence. This entire pattern is then also repeated with a further transposition 2 measures later, and all of this layering of repeating on top of repeating bigger patterns is how Williams is able to capture the essence of the recording from R2 that seems to be stuck in its
You're my
own
only
loop.
hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
But then, Williams maintains the repetitive nature of the music while also moving the motion forward by creating another sequence with the half-step motions as the woodwinds continue to repeat the descending half-step while beginning each iteration on the note that the last descent ended on.
Merely a malfunction. Old data. Pay it no mind.
Who is she? She's beautiful.
And as C-3PO begins to talk more about Leia and Luke's fascination with her takes hold, Leia's theme enters in the oboe.
I think she was a passenger on our last voyage, a person of some importance, as I believe. Our captain was attached
Is there any
to...
more to this recording?
It's next picked up by the flutes and clarinets in octaves, building its strength slightly more. Interestingly, Williams continues to use woodwinds for Leia up to this point, which reflect a delicate nature to her character, even though she's the only character we've seen to this point shoot a stormtrooper or talk back to Darth Vader and survive.
Darth Vader, only you could be so bold. The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you've attacked a diplomatic...
However, the last phrase, and really an extension to the last phrase, is taken then up by the French horn.
Unit has become a bit eccentric.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wonder if he means old Ben Kenobi.
I beg your pardon, sir, but do you know what he's talking about?
But the melody is quickly then taken up by the English horn and returned to the woodwinds. Also of note is that as Obi-Wan Kenobi is mentioned, the Force theme, which was originally a theme for Kenobi, is absent. It's very possible that in an earlier draft of the score, this theme may have been placed here to begin giving it a connection to Kenobi, but leaving it out allows the Force theme to remain its own identity.
A bit eccentric.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wonder if he means old Ben Kenobi.
I beg your pardon, sir, but do you know what he's talking about?
And as Luke removes the restraining bolt from R2, the sequencing woodwind half-steps return to bring mystery back as Leia's hologram falls dark and silent. It also connects us back to the beginning of the entire hologram.
Okay. There you go.
What is that?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Responding to it, Williams cuts the music off at that moment as well, also connecting back to how the music cue originally began, with the beginning of Leia's message first appearing.
Were you on a Star Cruiser?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
What's this?
What is what? He asked...
There you go. Wait a minute, where'd she go?
This was a great scene to demonstrate how simple musical elements such as intervals and melodic sequences can make a powerful impact on the viewer when used correctly, even if we're never intended to realize the notes that we're hearing. But I'm also curious what all of you think. This is a scene that can easily have its music overlooked. So, have you ever noticed the music from this scene before, or what it was offering to us?
Is there anything I might do to help?
Tell me in the comments below what you think, and consider checking out my Patreon page using the link in the description, where you can help support this channel for as little as $1 a month, or download PDFs and MP3s of projects, including now my transcriptions of the original John Williams scores for these films, as I complete them, along with other perks at higher tiers. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of a galaxy far, far away, and as always, may the be with you.